to Let Me Bore You to Sleep. This is Saturday the 27th of September 2025. It is 6:42 p.m. in the eve of this particular day. Hello. My website is jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. I might have already said it. I don't even hear myself say it. But I've said it twice, or once, or 3 times. A lady, I love you. I love you. I suppose I'll just do a kind of Saturday summary, I suppose. Just let you know what I've been up to this week. What I've been up to. Hopefully you can't hear the screeching and all that too much in the garden, but oh man, I was trying to make a hypnosis session earlier and it was like I was just squeaking, like really high pitched and shouting and like, oh man. So I closed the windows. I suppose, that would probably be a good idea anyway, but I like to have some air coming in. And I drew my curtains, which are supposed to be noise preventing curtains, although they're not actually up yet. They're up, but they're not up properly. I finally, because I got 2 pairs, only one pair's up, and it's on the old curtain rail, but I've got another curtain rail I say for me to attach, but someone else is going to attach it for me and put it higher up, which should mean there'll be no gaps, and there'll be 2 thick curtains together, so it should block out a lot more sound. But that won't be done for a while. I'm not in a hurry to do that. So look. I'm just looking on Facebook. So I just want to welcome, I got a new person joined my Jason Newland's Boring Group on Facebook. Someone called Jackie. So welcome, Jackie. I've now got 12 people. No, I've got 228. 228. Even today, after, basically this whole week has been trying to sort out the Apple Podcasts. So I made a few changes, which I'm allowed to do. And I had my letmeboreyoutosleep.com website, which was costing me a fair bit of money to run, because it had all my recordings on there, and it was. And then I took my jasonnewland.com off, not all this week, but. And then some people were saying, we missed the normal website, and so I got it back on, which cost me even more money than I was paying before. And So I kind of had to really choose between one of those websites from a financial perspective. So I thought, well, the jasonnewland.com website has been around from the very beginning of me doing all this stuff. I've owned that domain for over 20 years. So instead of like 2 weeks with the letmeboreyoutosleep.com. So what I've done is I got rid of deleted the letmeboreyoutosleep.com website. I signed up with another host for my jasonnewland.com website, which actually is better than the previous one because it's basically my podcast. It gives you all the latest recordings that have been uploaded. There's an actual page for each podcast. So if you click on the page, you can stream it on there. I'll tell you what I need to do. I need to do this. I do apologise. I don't apologise, but what I could do is embedded player. I have got download on the embedded player. So I'm wondering, how can I do it so that everything's automatically downloadable? There isn't a way to do that. Oh. So it doesn't give an option on the embedded player to download, but you can stream. So you can play it on the website. Also gives you an option, so it tells you how long the recording is, the name of the recording, when it was recorded. There's also a transcription link to the transcription of the recording, which will give you a transcription, I suppose. Self-explanatory. And then, well, that's it really. But you can also, there's a link below with an Apple Podcast logo and a Spotify logo. And both of those take you to the Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply podcast, which is where I upload everything to. Every recording, whether it's a hypnosis for sleep, relaxation, chronic pain, whether it's a let me bore you to sleep, whatever it is gets uploaded to that podcast. And also the Apple Podcast link is there as well. So that's kind of handy. There's also a page for episodes. I mean, there's stuff that I can do that I've not done yet that I can do to get this a little bit more kind of organised, a little bit tidier. But I've done quite a few recordings this week. And bearing in mind, I didn't have like a huge break, but I didn't make recordings for a little while, kind of around August time. But this week, I mean, what's the date now? It's the 27th. So since the 21st of September, 21st of September, let's have a look. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've done 12 recordings since so far this week. 12, so it'll be 13 today. Yeah, that's all right, isn't it? But then, yeah, that's what it was. Because that was the Sunday when I was talking about bipolar and EUPD. And then, everything went weird. My Apple podcasts were not uploading. They weren't updated, rather. Which I didn't know why. And I tried to figure it out. I went online, tried to research why it could be happening. I went on to ChatGPT and... I'm sorry, mate. I just stood on your foot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll take my flip-flops off. There you go. There you go. You can stand on my feet now. Okay. Yes, you can. Vinny, your dinner's over there. You need to start learning to eat your dinner. Yeah. He's looking at me like, where's my TREEEET? No. No. You have to. Your dinner's there, your water's there, you've been out for another walk. So you've been out, literally just got back 10 minutes ago. You did a poo-poo, you did multiple wee-wees, didn't you? So, just relax, baby. I'll share with you whatever I eat. I always do, don't I? Unless it's salad, of course. Yeah, like I eat salad. I do like salad, actually. I don't eat it as much as perhaps I should. Vinny's not a big fan of salad, although I did discover he likes apples. But I also discovered he doesn't like apples when I buy them for him. Go figure. He likes them when they're on the floor and they've got maggots in them. That's when he likes them. He likes them when they're fallen off a tree and they're covered in mud and dirt and all kinds of stuff. But I actually buy him a pack of apples from the supermarket. Nope, don't want to know. I don't know. And yes, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Because ultimately, Apple Podcasts is the most... Okay, I'll give you... So if we go for the last 12 months... sources. So for the last 12 months on all my podcasts on Spreaker, because I've also got 2 on SoundCloud as well, but for the past 12 months 84% of the streams has come from Apple Podcasts. 84%. Now, the last 7 days, 57%. It's, I mean, even the last, like yesterday, 55%. Today, 33% on Apple Podcasts, 37% Podcast Addicts, and Overcast is 20%. So even though, I mean, I've really tried my best. Like I changed some stuff around. I said I was going to stop doing hypnosis recordings, and then I started doing them again. That doesn't affect the stats. It might affect people listening. but it's not going to affect Apple Podcasts, like from just displaying my recordings. Changing my website is not going to have no effect on Apple Podcasts displaying my recordings. So there was some kind of malfunction, and I think it was because I had too many podcasts. I've now had to kind of go through them, and I've only got a few podcasts now compared to what I used to have. So what I did is I went onto ChatGPT and asked it to search through the internet and search for which Apple podcasts were being used, being viewed the most or listened to the most, and which ones were causing problems, which ones weren't showing up, which ones weren't showing up in other countries and only showing up in the UK, and all that stuff. It took me about 2 or 3 days. It still wasn't all sorted, but I eventually ended up with one podcast on Apple Podcast service per podcast. Now that makes sense to me, but it's really weird. And so I'm partly responsible, I'm sure, for the Apple Podcast issue, because I wasn't managing the podcasts correctly. How many more times can I say podcasts? But the technical issue is something that hasn't happened before, and I hadn't done anything that I'd not done before. This wasn't, so there was no different behaviour on my part. Although I got a vague memory a few years ago of one of my Apple podcasts not updating, and it's because I had too many episodes. I had like 2,000, 3,000 episodes on there, and even though it only shows the last 250, it struggled to do it because of how many there were. So I think what I did was delete a huge amount off of the actual Spreaker podcast, and that sorted it out. I just remembered that today. That was a few years back though. So it's weird, well, not weird, but it's kind of strange in a way that I'm getting the sources. It's not telling me, to get so many more on Podcast Addict and Overcast is, that's really good. I'm pleased about that. So that in itself is really groovy. It's the Apple Podcast that's kind of weird, because on a day like this, based on this kind of stats, I'd have a lot more. So as I said, I'm just trying to think how much of this I can, if I was to start blaming myself, how much of this I would put on myself. Let's have a look. Some bullet points of why I could blame. Yeah. Oh, now this started on the 17th, so that was long before the 21st. Hope you're well. This is Anne. Your new recordings are not showing up on my Apple Podcasts anymore. That was the 17th. So yeah, this has been going on for a lot longer than just a week. 15. Wow. So it is been a bit strange. Okay, so let's address some things. Okay. As far as accessing the recordings via Facebook, I've started using, like, having a link to my website to, where the page is for the one with no music. The reason I don't I didn't think I needed to put a link to anywhere. I just assumed people would listen wherever they listen. So if you listen on Spotify, or if you listen on SoundCloud, or if you listen on whatever app, Castbox, whatever your favourite app is, or Apple, that's where you would go. But I've started uploading with a link to at least one page out of the 6 that you get, So, but what I would say is, if you're ever in doubt, if you're like thinking, that's weird, he hasn't made a recording for a while, or if you just want to see what my latest recordings are after a day or two, just go to my website, jasonnewland.com. All the latest recordings will be up there. Hopefully they'll also be updated on whatever podcast app you use. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I mean, I don't... Because I was talking about the stats had gone down, but it had nothing to do with websites. It had nothing to do with me sort of making changes. It was just Apple Podcasts weren't updating. And honestly, it was like really strange. And when I looked into the problem, it was very much kind of like, well, I was bearing in mind Apple do it for free. It's a free service. I'm not paying them to host my podcast. Whether or not all the other podcast hosts give a kickback to Apple, I don't know. I imagine they would, because Apple is the number one, and then Spotify, as far as the podcast hosting where people listen to podcasts, and YouTube as well. That's growing. My YouTube channel's growing. Very weird. I didn't expect that to happen. But every day I go on there, there's more subscribers, more kind of people listening to my podcast episodes, which is quite nice actually, because it's been like a desert for so long. I kept at it. I kept uploading, all the latest recordings, but it's just, I didn't know if it was ever going to pick up, but it seems to have done a little bit more. And someone did send me a message saying, one said too slow. So, fair enough. And another person asked me, their question was, are you a virgin? So I replied, yes, of course. So, straight away I'm noticing just that slight rise in an audience will potentially start those weird messages again. And back in like 2010, 11, 12, I had a fairly successful YouTube channel. It was a different channel to the one I got now, but it was doing quite well. It was growing and it was, developing. but I was getting a lot of weird messages on there, a lot of strange comments about my appearance, and that's part of the reason why I don't really want to make videos, and I'd much rather just stick to the podcast, the audio. And then, people can make fun of how I talk, and they can make fun of how slowly I talk, I suppose, and perhaps, they can make fun of saying, oh, how boring I am, but it's not really an insult, is it, when I'm making boring recordings? Yeah. So I'm just trying to think what else. I like to address, sometimes I do make changes. I'm trying not to be honest. I want to try and keep the website now as it is. And because I'm quite happy with how it is now. This is quite a well-designed podcast website. And I'm pleased that all the Apple podcasts are now sorted. But unfortunately, due to what happened, a lot of the audience has been lost because I couldn't have more than one podcast with the same name open. Because it was confusing Apple, their algorithms or whatever. So they weren't updating. They didn't know which one to update. So they ended up not updating any. So now it's very basic. And if you go to, let's have a look. I can show you well, I can't show you, but I'll go through it. So if I go to Apple Podcasts, if you go to Apple Podcasts and you can't find me, let's say you put it in Google and the wrong page comes up, or page not found, what you can do in the left hand side, if you're on a laptop, you can do a search. Just search for my name, Jason Newland. And all my podcasts come up. All the ones that are actually active. So Sleepy Boring Objects, Jason's Bedtime Storytime, Let Me Bore You to Sleep, Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply, Stop Smoking Hypnosis, Let Me Bore Your Pain Away, Deep Sleep Whisper Hypnosis, and lastly, Relaxation for Stress and Panic Attacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 podcasts, and that is it on Apple. On Spreaker, I got a little bit more than that. I have I got Chronic Pain Hypnosis, Deep Sleep Whisper Hypnosis, Let Me Bore Your Phobia Away. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I've got 17 individual podcasts on my Spreaker. And I think some of those are connected to SoundCloud, to Apple Podcasts. So let's have a look at you. I'm just thinking, you got me thinking. Distribution, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts. Let's have a look what the address is. Copy. So right, page can't be found. So it's not the original connection's not there. I should have looked at that, shouldn't I? 5878. Okay, so I wonder how I delete that. I deleted it from the actual, so yeah, so that's just the way it is. So the actual, that was another thing. So yeah, I know what I'm saying, I think. It's just very confusing the way it's all worked out. But it will sort itself out. Oh, there's a doggy in the garden barking. Spotify. What if Spotify's going to work? Let's have a look. Spotify, yeah, that's working okay. So I'm going to find out how I can get rid of that one. Maybe if I'm able to connect the Spreaker podcast directly to Apple, as well as actually having it as an Apple, it will sort that out completely and get rid of the other one. Because at the moment, if you still put in, you click on the Apple that you had before, maybe, and if you look at the address, it comes up. The ID is 16480558878. Eight 7 8. I thought that was working. 878. Well, I guess not. My goodness, I'm very, very surprised. What's that all about? That's weird. That's very strange. Let me just check to see if it's working. Oh, that's interesting. So the website is actually 9803. Okay, so that, I don't know if any of this actually makes any sense, because I'm looking at stuff on the screen which kind of makes things a little bit clearer. But that's been very much the focus of my week, trying to sort out these podcasts. And I mean, potentially, I think in my trying to sort them out, I've ended up, I think I might have made it worse. Well, I think I possibly did make it worse to start with, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to just play around with them and figure out, kept refreshing it. That'll do it, that'll get the stuff up, and it didn't work. And I think I was a bit too overridey, I did a bit too much on the platform. But now, hopefully, if anyone likes what I do, they will just search for me. I hope that, if you go into Apple Podcasts and the thing doesn't come up, then you can just search for me. Or you can put in, so for example, let me bore you to sleep. Let me bore you to sleep. So let me bore you to sleep. There's only one show now on Apple Podcasts with that title, and that show works. It updates regularly. Now, the original show, I can check that now actually. The original show distribution, Apple Podcasts, copy. No, that doesn't work. So it's not ideal. It's not ideal. It's far from ideal. But now, if people search for what I'm doing, they can just add, like, follow it, and there was just too many of the same podcasts. Too many Let Me Bore You to Sleep ones, because I've done a few over the years. Too many chronic pain ones too. There's like 2 stop smoking ones. Now there's just one of each, and there's 8. It makes it a little bit easier. It not short, maybe not short term, but long term it will. Like, hopefully after people have realised that they can easily find my podcasts by just going to my website or just searching. So if you put in my name in Bing, the first website that comes up is one that isn't on there. Brilliant. Apple Podcasts. So you got 1, 2, so 3 down is my website. So you can click on my website, and that will take you to Q&A Friday. So that'll be yesterday's recording. And I've got my podcasts, Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply, but that's the Spreaker. So what I really need to do, and I'm going to do that today or tomorrow, maybe not tonight because it's 20 past 7 and I need to get something to eat and all that, but I'm gonna put, I have a thing at the top of the page where find me on these particular podcasts. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do that, or just have it under my podcasts and just put Apple whatever and just do it like that. Or I could just have a link on a page of Apple and Spotify, so you can just click on that and then get a choice between the 8 different podcasts. So, there's definitely room for improvement. But at the moment, if you click on any of my recordings, as far as any page, and it'll take you to the whatever recording you click on. It's got its own page, and underneath is Apple and Spotify. It will take you to the Apple or the Spotify Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply, not the Let Me Bore You to Sleep. But once you get there, let's say you can search. What was that? That's weird. Come on. Okay. So you can search for Let Me... Why is it doing that for? Let me bore you to sleep. So you could just search for Let Me Bore You to Sleep. It actually comes up as an image right at the top. There's a moon smiling with a different logo on that one. So and then that brings it up. and then you can follow. So it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to make it easier, trying to make it more accessible. And you know, if I have caused distress for anyone, I've tried to make it up by making a few more recordings this week, a few hypnosis relaxation things, you know, and also trying to fix the Apple issue that they had, and also making, I would say, quite a nice website actually. It's nicely designed, it's very clean, very easy to use, and yeah, but it doesn't allow to download. But I do have a solution for that, but that will be coming separate. I think I'm going to set up ultimately every recording I have has a download button that I can add. So let's have a look. Permalink. Okay, no, that's not the one. Download button. Download. Direct download link. So I can copy that. And then when that's clicked, no, what happens is it just automatically downloads. It's really easy. So what I can do is just add the link to the website. Maybe, would that be easier if I did it so added download links to the, like if I posted on Facebook page, posted the new episode, so I could have, you know, I could have the information, but also I could have direct download links to every recording I've done, like those 6 versions, and you can just download them directly. Would that be useful? I never really thought about doing that before, because I'm thinking about maybe doing that on doing that in the description. And then having that on YouTube and on the website as well. So people can just go to the website and maybe click on Music 10 Hours, Timeless Calm, which was the last recording I did. And then it just gives an option to download. Download for free and keep forever. Download this MP3 and maybe put the size that it is, the download size. That's not a bad idea, is it? I'm quite excited by that. I don't think I've ever been so excited. So I hope that, you know, everyone's okay with the situation. It's just, if I search for Google, really? Okay, Google. So I just want to look in, I want to search for myself in Google. Bing does not like Google. Why has it got such an old image? The one from like 20 years ago. So if I put in my name, I normally come up at the top. Okay, so yeah, in Google, I'm at the top. Jason, Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply, Jason Newland. And then underneath that is Spotify, Jason Newland's Hypnosis recordings, SoundCloud, Let Me Bore You to Sleep, then Jason Newland, the YouTube, and then Jason Newland Hypnotist on Facebook. Then Instagram, although I don't even use Instagram, and X, which I don't even use, which I need to sort of, I don't really use either of those. Then Apple Podcasts, and another one for SoundCloud again. So if I click on jasonnewland.com, that works fine. Spotify, Hypnosis recordings, that's old. The one that's coming up, the Spotify, wow, that's from 2020, February. I need to figure out how to get rid of the old Spotify accounts as well. Got loads of those. Let Me Bore You to Sleep on SoundCloud. So I click on that, that should come up. Yeah, it is. That's good. That's going quite well actually. So I'll come out of there, and then YouTube, Jason Newland. And again, yeah, that's all right. It's just, it's plodding along, but upwards, as it were. Then Jason Newland Hypnotist, that's a Facebook page, that's fine. Instagram, that's all working, okay. Some weird pictures of me on there. Jason Newland X.com. What? This is X.com. 228. What? Oh, I know what it is. I've got 608 followers. But what it is I don't know how to log in. I don't know how to log in. I've lost the way to log in. So that's not good. Wow, I'll tell you what, that was weird. Vinny started barking really loudly. Made me jump. Because I'm half asleep when I make these recordings. And then fireworks started going off. So he clearly heard the fireworks before I did. So I don't know, he must have heard the before they launched. Or maybe you heard the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, safe to launch. Maybe he heard all that and that's why he was barking. I mean, they might not do that with fireworks. It's a bit early for fireworks. 27th of September. Fireworks is it the 5th of November? It's Halloween soon, isn't it? No, Halloween's the end. No, it's September. Wait a minute. It's a month early for fireworks. Isn't till the 5th of November. That's weeks away. Months, over a month away. Blimmin' heck. So with Google, if you put in, let me bore you to sleep, you got SoundCloud. So, you can, that's one place to go. You've got Spotify. That's another place to go. Let's see if it's opening up okay. It is... It hasn't updated. Oh yes, it has updated. Sorry, it's updated. So yeah, that's fine. So that's the correct Spotify one. And Spreaker, that's going to be correct. So yeah, that's fine. And then you've got Apple Podcasts. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Right. So what's coming up for the Let Me Bore You to Sleep on Apple Podcasts is, it's not the Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcast, it's Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply. So that is, let me just check something. I need to go back. 8903. Yeah, so it's basically, that's just standard. Yeah, so it's not coming up as Let Me Bore You to Sleep. However, all my Let Me Bore You to Sleep recordings are on there. It should update that. It's just I guess, is confused. But then you've got Let Me Bore You to Sleep, 24th of September, that's on my website. So that's coming up. Oh, that's nice. So my website's coming up there. I'm just having a look. Let Me Bore You to Sleep on Apple Podcast again. So that's not coming up because that's an old one. So that's not coming up. What I would say is, if it's worth just going down a little bit and spending a few minutes just searching. So you got Let Me Bore You to Sleep on Spotify, and that's updated. You got TuneIn. That's really old. That's 2023. Wow. And then you've got another one on my website. That's interesting because each page is making its own. Yeah. So each podcast episode is making its own page, which means it's going to get more. There'll be more stuff on Google and search engines, so more chance of people finding me, I suppose, which is nice. Of course, I'm on YouTube. Good pods, Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Am I in pod? Blimey. 7th, the 7th of the 23rd, 23. So I don't remember there being 23 months. The 7th of the 23rd month. They got that wrong, didn't they? But yeah, that's the last one on there was 1020. So let me see if. See, this is one of those things where sometimes a podcast just don't update. And because it's a free service and I'm not paying them anything, they're not obliged to update. So sometimes, the podcast apps only show like old stuff, and then they, I don't quite know how to nudge them. Perhaps something I could look into. But what I do is, oh my goodness, that's really strange. Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Oh, okay, got you. So I just search. So if there's a search box, I search for my name or I search for the individual podcast. So it is on good pods. It's just I had to search for it. And the best episodes are listed first. So Little Tim and the Magical Forest. That's the most popular one. And wow, okay. And a Q&A Friday from 8th of November back in 2024. But all episodes, is it up to date? Is it up to date? No, it's not. Again, how do I get it up to date? The last one on that was 14th. It was the 8th, the 22nd of August, 2025. So all I can do again is search for my name, podcasts. I click on podcasts and just see what comes up. There's a few. Oh, there's another one. There's another Let Me Bore You to Sleep. So I'll click on that, see if anything comes up there. No. How strange. It's exactly the same one. Why are they showing it twice? They're showing it twice. In fact, they're not just showing it twice, they're showing it over and over and over and over again. Okay, so if I put in, say click on Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply, see if that's working. Well, see if it's updating rather. Oh, take your time. Blimey. Don't worry, no hurry. I ain't got nothing to do, it's fine, just... Oh, come on. Podcast not available. So that might be what happens. If I just put in Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Podcast not available. So according to this, it's the same one coming up. So there's some tidying up needed in there. This one's just not working. Good podcasts. Good pods rather. Amazon.com, Let Me Bore You to Sleep. So 3rd of October 2023. It's weird because if you look at this, there's the old images, the kind of images that I used to make. Wow. Like, yeah. There's one of Vinny climbing up a big ice cream on a beach, and he's climbing up a ladder to try and get to the chocolate. Naughty boy, not allowed chocolate. So let's just go back. So Let Me Bore You to Sleep, Audible. Okay, so this isn't... That's weird. Let Me Bore You to Sleep. So this is all... Yeah, it doesn't seem to... This is what a more recent... Okay, fair enough. If I put my name next to it. Right, that's a different organised situation there. Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcast. Apple is coming up. So in Google, if you put in my name, oh, it's coming up. It's the Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply. Okay. So I wonder if I can find another one. Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcast. Nope, that one's not coming up. It's the old one. Loads of videos on YouTube and stuff. Amazon, Facebook. LetMeBoreYouToSleep.com. That sounds familiar, but it's not there anymore. Pandora.com. It's not even available in my region. iVoox. I used to be on iVoox. So I'm going to need a proper, thorough going through all the different podcasts to see that if they're updating all the different podcast apps, and just checking and seeing if there's any that I can delete that aren't working in order to make it less confusing for people, and for me as well. Right, YouTube is definitely getting the most traffic on this one, but it is Google. They're going to focus on their own services, aren't they, I guess, which makes sense. Show more images. SoundCloud, Spotify, all images. Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Spreaker, SoundCloud, Amazon, Apple Podcasts. Let's have a look. And that was a different country as well, so I don't know where that was. So what I really need to do is go into open up the podcast platform, look at pages. Where's the pages? I'm not used to using it, you see, so I'm kind of a little bit custom pages, my podcasts. Add a custom page. Apple podcasts. Podcats. Apple Podcasts. So if I've got that, I want it to be in. Okay. How can I allow it to be in the thingy? Oh well. So I can save that. So what I need to do is it automatically? It is automatically in the index. So if I go to Apple Podcasts, nope, it's not what I want. I want that one. Okay, Apple Podcasts. So Let Me Bore You to Sleep. I can put that in there. I can do this now while I talk to you. So just let you know how talented I am. Ooh. So podcast, Apple Podcasts. What on earth is going on here? Apple Podcasts. Edit page, right. It's going to take a while. So what I need to do is edit page content. So no, what the heck's going on here? Get back. Edit page content. Right, I've clearly messed up with this. So if I go back to that, Let Me Bore You to Sleep. That's what I want to post. Let Me Bore You to Sleep. And then just the link. And that's it. The link. Add a link. Ding dong ding. and it's done. Why is it so it's so small though? Right, I need to refresh it. Apple Podcasts. Let me bore you to sleep. Right. Really? Okay, it's opened. So I'll do the other podcasts as well. But Apple Podcast is the Let Me Bore You to Sleep is now there. In the index, in the jasonnewland.com, under Apple Podcasts, and there's that. So what I'll do is I'll have two separate ones, Spotify and Apple, and then I'll have one, all podcasts, and then I'll have all of them, all the different, I suppose all the different, whatever you want to call on the apps. So I need to make it a larger header. Let's see if that works. It does work. Works for me. Is it too big though? I don't know. Sure. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Let's redo it. Apple. I'll go back. Apple Podcasts, Let Me Bore You to Sleep. It's bigger than the header, which is not probably a good idea. So if I put it back to how it was, edit content, large header, smaller header. Oh, but it's still bigger than what it was before. No, it's not. It's the same size. It's small header. Yeah, there's no way of making it. No, I can't make it any bigger. That'll do. That'll be fine. Well, what I can do actually, I think, yeah, I can put it into a list. And then I can put it on ChatGPT and say, just organise this so it's nice and tidy as well. Because not only that, I want to actually put the link, the actual link. But that's not what I want. I want the link in there as well. Why is it doing that? I don't understand. Because then people can... Sometimes it's nice to have the link, you know what I mean? As well. Now, I don't want that underlined. I don't. But it's underlining it anyway. Why would it do such a thing? That's just made it complicated. So I'm going to come out of that. I'm going to change that and get rid of it. Because it's not helped at all. And I don't want... Because I suppose it's got a link. It's like old-fashioned. It's got a link, so it has to have a line underneath it. For some reason. I don't really know why. It's very old-fashioned. Very old-fashioned. Vinny's still chasing a fly. All day long he's been chasing that fly. I don't think he's actually ever caught a fly. In my knowledge, I don't think he's ever actually caught one. I'm not bad-mouthing him. I'm just saying I don't think he's ever actually caught a fly. You know, I'm not being rude. It's not like I'm saying that he's pretty bad at catching flies. However, he's not particularly good at it. But it's not really his skill set. It's not what he was bred for, was it? Dogs generally are not. They're not bred to catch flies. It's normal text, small header. Oh, okay, got it. So now I need to go back, get the link, go back, put the link in thing, copy that. This would be so exciting. If you could see what I'm seeing on the screen, you would be so excited. So excited. You wouldn't be able to you wouldn't believe your excitement. It's just phenomenal. Ooh. So what else have we got? So I put 2 in. I'm not going to do all of them, but I will do all of them, all 8. But I've done 2 for now. So if you go into the website, click on Apple Podcasts. So if you go to jasonnewland.com, click on Apple Podcasts, and what you'll see is, so if I just go into normal, and now so I'll click, Apple Podcasts. Let Me Bore You to Sleep, Jason Newland, and then Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply. Click on either one of those, and it will take you to the particular Apple Podcasts, and you can follow. You can click the follow button. Yay. And I'll do the other 6 tomorrow, because I need to get myself some food. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Big Brother starts tomorrow. Are you as excited as me? Oh, I can't wait. Really. I genuinely can't wait. It's great. It's like, I've been waiting for months, 6 months or whatever. Because there's 2 versions. There's Celebrity Big Brother and Normal Big Brother. This is going to be the regular Normal Big Brother. Oh. So yeah, every night, apart from Saturday night, I'll be sitting there 9 o'clock watching it. Oh. Yep. It's going to be good. It also means I might be talking a lot about Big Brother. I also need to sort this squeaky desk out, because it's starting to be a bit too squeaky. It's weird though, because when I push it, nothing. When I lean on it. Alright, so it's the top that's squeaking, not the legs. Maybe it needs screwing, a good screw, like tightened up maybe. Maybe that's what it needs. It needs to be tightened, a nice tight screw put in there. Because perhaps it's got loose over time. Because that's actually happened to my coat rack. One of the knobs on my coat rack fell off. It's been there 10 years. Well, more than 10 years now. It just, 10 and a half years, it just fell off. It just had enough. I mean, I didn't feel sad. It was not like nostalgic, and I came in and looked at my photo album of all the different wonderful times I've had with that particular, coat rack handle knob thing. I remember we was in Paris. Oh, so romantic. Picnicking in Rome. No. It would just be a case of, remember when I put my coat on it? Do you remember when I put my coat on it another time? And the other time when I put my coat on it? That was it really. That's all I ever did. We didn't really spend that much time together. In fact, I would argue that probably didn't know each other that well. but it's one less thing that I can put my coat on. So I've now got 2 instead of 3, and the one in the middle is for his lead and my keys. Well, it's not in the middle anymore, it's now, well, it's still in the middle of the wood, and the other one is where I have to put my coat. And my stand-up lamp is just in front of there because I've not moved it into the storage room yet. But I will do that. Oh, I got loads of bleach delivered the other day. Ordered them weeks ago. And they finally came. It's like, oh. It was just nice. Just nice to have one less thing to, just to be prepared, a little bit prepared, you know, for anything that involves bleach. When I've put together the Apple Podcast page on my website, I will post it on the Facebook page, Jason Newland's Boring Group. Okay, so that should hopefully clear everything up. Hopefully. Because I've been testing these every day for quite a few days now to make sure that these are working, and they are. Those 8 podcasts on Apple are working. They're updating. So, which means they are proficient. And on that note, I mean, that really is what I've done this week. I've got a, yeah, that is it, I think. Yeah, that's all I've done this week, really. But it's, you know, hopefully, over the next week I'll start to see the benefits of listeners starting to rediscover the podcasts on Apple again. Hopefully. But in the meantime, people have started listening more on other apps. As I said, such as, I mean, today, Podcast Addict is 37%, Apple Podcasts is 33%, Overcast is 20%, and you've got Castbox, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iVoox, Chrome, Deezer, Spreaker, Pocket Casts, Podcast Republic, Apple Core Media, Audible, Roku, Air Podcasts, Alexa Media Player, Amazon Music, Antenna Pod, Just Audio, and some others that they're not listing. So yeah. So I'm going to go get something to eat. So thank you very much for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. And be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.